AWOLNATION.radio.com. I'm Megan Holiday, and today we are doing a check-in with Aaron Bruno of AWOLNATION. How you doing, dude?
I'm pretty good. And well, how are you?
I'm pretty good too. It feels like we're sort of in the home stretch of hopefully getting out of this pandemic. I'm kind of feeling more hopeful. What about you?
Well, I'm feeling more hopeful today because I thought our interview was on Thursday, and so I signed on, and it said the host wasn't there, and I was just ready to go. Internet was working great. I had a lot of cool jokes to provide, but then I realized that I was early. So that was pretty cool.
Better early than late. But I'm so glad that you made it. And today, it's actually better that we talk today because today is actually the day 10 years ago that AWOLNATION's debut album, Megalithic Symphony, came out. And we are also celebrating the deluxe edition dropping today too, which we're going to talk about. But I was hoping we could kind of go back 10 years ago at a time when, you had kind of been in two previous bands and you were sort of at a place in your life where maybe you wanted to kind of give up on music or didn't think it was going to be a real career path. So just about AWOLNATION coming together in the process of making the debut album.
Yeah. Well, thanks for asking, and thanks for having me today on this strange day. I don't even know where to begin, but I will say, to encourage anyone who feels like they, run into a wall in their career, and it could be music, it could be whatever adventure you're on, right? I definitely had been told and experienced a lot of failure, and really mostly failure, and it wasn't looking good at the time. And I think because of that and some of the emotions I was feeling, I was able to pour that into my music, like all of us or anyone who's watching this. Music tends to be our therapy. So I just pressed forward with that mentality, with zero expectations. I sort of abandoned all hope of a sort of career in music, and just wanted to create music that I loved. And I'm such a fan of music that I figured, well, if I can make music that I want to listen to and that makes me feel something, maybe my friends will think it doesn't suck. That was sort of the bar. It was a really low bar. In previous bands, we thought we were going to be, selling out Dodger Stadium 5 nights in a row and all those sort of hilarious, unrealistic expectations. So we were traveling with those in our mind. But so when those bands hadn't worked out and we all broke up, I decided to go my own way and forge a path to be able to at least love what I was doing, and in hopes that I could play for my friends and family. And then it kind of took off. It's not that simple, obviously, but it took off, and here we are 10 years later talking about an album that still seems pretty relevant, and I'm very proud of that.
100%. And I remember the first time I heard the song Sail, I was living in San Francisco, and I went up to my friend Patty's house, and he was like, I got to play this song for you. And we sat there and we watched the music video. And I just remember thinking the song is going to be massive. Wow. And, it's been streamed millions of times. It's gone 6 times platinum. Maybe just going back with that particular song, what was the inspiration behind writing it? Where did it kind of come from? And why do you think it resonates with so many people?
I'll never know why it resonated or how that all happened. I mean, I just found out that we're actually certified 10 times platinum in the States, which means it's something like 16 times worldwide. So it's like, it just keeps going. I suppose maybe I just felt similar to a lot of people at the time, and struck a nerve and said a couple things, or I should say, sang a couple things or a couple words that really resonated with folks, and it's weird to think about. I've never really been able to sit back and analyze the song, but so since we're sitting on this 10-year anniversary, I suppose I'm doing a little bit more self-reflection on that album and that song. And I'll just say that, it's like all those stories you hear on Behind the Music. I just showed my age by saying Behind the Music. Remember Behind the Music on like VH1 and stuff with Matt Pinfield, and
yes,
who's a good friend now.
Same here.
Well, it's always like that story. Oh, it was the last song we wrote. We didn't want to put on the record, and that's the one that took off. Or For Sale, it was one of the earlier songs I wrote, but I just thought it was a song that I finally had created that had the kind of groove and beat I had always been searching for, and also had the intensity, maybe vocally, that and some sort of sensitivity melodically at the same time. So I guess that was a good example of what of having no rules and no boundaries and no expectations and no one telling me what to do. And it it worked out, and it still blows me away every day. And I can't tell you how many times other people have shared similar stories to yours about the first time they heard it from, even one of my best buddies, John Monroy. He had a moment where he said, hey, I just went surfing with this older gentleman, and he forced me to get in his car. That sounds weird, by the way, but he forced me to get in his car and said, hey, you got to hear the song. And he played John, his best friend's song, Sail, and it was a bunch of stuff like that. And you know what? I would say the coolest thing about that song and the experience is that I don't hate it. A lot of people's hit songs become monotonous and annoying to play, but it's always been a fairly easy song to sing and play, and I still really like the song. So I guess that's one of the bonuses of it, for sure.
And one of the craziest things, which I had seen you say in an interview, was that people had kind of said at the time, oh, this will never be a single, or it's never going to get played on the radio. And then the exact opposite of that happened. So that must have felt pretty good. And I also think it kind of goes back to what you were saying, where you kind of didn't have expectations. You weren't trying to do anything other than just make something organic that felt right and felt true. And I think that's what connected with people.
Yeah, possibly. And I should mention that there was a radio DJ or personality that in Austin, Texas, by the name of Toby Ryan, who we were trying to go with this other song called "Burn It Down" as the first single, and I never thought any of these songs were going to be singles. So even to have the discussion of radio was I was hopeful, and I was pessimistically hopeful of some sort of success. I just wanted to sell out the Roxy, here in our hometown and our home city, I should say. And anyway, so he decided to play Sail instead of the song "Burn It Down." And when he did it, the phones, as the story goes, he claims that he had never seen that kind of reaction. And this was still when phones were lighting up at the time. And so I got the call that the song seemed to, be catching fire in Austin, Texas. And then as a result, it was just a big domino effect, and, remains to be across the world. And, 10 years later, we're talking about it.
I love that story so much. It's just so awesome. And, today you released the deluxe edition of Megalithic Symphony. So what are some special features that fans can expect from the release today?
There's a couple songs that I recorded around that time, whether it was before the album came out or, while I was on that journey, that were songs that I liked a lot and still like a lot, but they just didn't seem to fit the actual album. One song is called "Cannibals." That's the one that our fans know most because we actually played it, I think 2 or 3 times live. No one knew it, but it just felt appropriate to play. And so we're finally releasing that song. And if I weren't to release the song today, I don't know when I would. So this seems like the right time to do it. And I think at the very least, the people who were always curious about that song, hopefully will be satisfied with the recorded version. The opposite could happen too. They could be like, this isn't as good as I was hoping it would be, because it was so fun live. So who knows, but I hope people enjoy it. There's another song called "I'm No Good" that sort of speaks for itself. I know we've all felt that way at times in our life. And so that was sort of an expression of being in a bit of a rut. So it's an energetic song that didn't seem, again, any of these 3 bonus songs didn't seem to fit Megalithic Symphony, and they didn't seem to quite fit into Run either. So, you know, it's fun to have those bonus songs. All my favorite bands do, whether it's Radiohead or Weezer or Nirvana. When you discover these songs, it's really fun as a fan.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then there's a bunch of live versions of the songs from Megalithic Symphony as well.
Oh, awesome. That's always my favorite when I get, you know, B-sides, rarities, like live stuff of my favorite.
Yeah.
It's always fun to go and listen. And, you know, I know that you guys, AWOLNATION, you put out an album. I don't want to mess, Angel Miners and the Lightning Riders. You put this out, you know, and you were supposed to do a tour with Andrew McMahon. And then, of course, we all know what happened, you know, COVID and stuff. So what are you most excited about in a post-COVID world? And then also just what has AWOLNATION been up to lately?
Well, once I realized that, you know, the touring cycle of Angel Miners and the Lightning Riders had been erased from time, like so many of our plans, I just thought, okay, well, you know, we're all suffering in different ways. So that, you know, I'm not gonna feel bad about it. So I'm just gonna move forward and express myself and go through the motions just like everybody else in my own way. And so I took on 2 different projects. And so, you know, I have two albums that will come out. One will come out this year, and another one will come out probably at the end of this year. One may be filled with cover songs and special guest features, and the other one will be, you know, the AWOLNATION's 5th album, and that should come out probably sometime before the end of the year, or at least, like, you know, a song. So I've just been, you know, I try to keep my head down when the world feels like it's on fire. I always turn to music, you know. So I did that again here, and so I'm sad we didn't get to do the Angel Miners and the Lightning Riders tour, but I'm very optimistic for what the next touring world will be, and sad to not go with Andrew, but, you know, maybe we'll have a different partner that'll be cool as well. So I just try to stay optimistic with music and turn to it whenever I can.
I really appreciate that, you know, because I feel the same way. It's been a saving grace during this whole time. And I think music is going to be such a big factor to help kind of pull us out of this thing and get us back to like a better energy when this is all over.
You know, and there's been a couple of records that have come out. That new Weezer record, OK Human, really blew me away, and lyrically and sonically. And we talked Rivers and I talked a bit about it. And you know, he sings on Angel Miners and the Lightning Riders on a song called Pacific Coast Highway in the movies. See, like, I've already moved on to the next batch of songs, so I forgot what. I obviously don't know what day it is half the time. I'm sure, like many people, it's felt like Groundhog's Day a lot, you know, especially when we were just sort of locked in our homes and weren't supposed to go anywhere. But anyways, yeah, that OK Human record, I felt like was a great example of an album that you can really relate to. At least I could, and so I'm really proud of them for that album.
Yeah, what's crazy is that they didn't even write it in this time. They just had it kind of ready to go. And
yeah, but it feels right. It's weird. Yeah,
it was like, I think musicians though and artists, you guys kind of pull stuff in, and you kind of know when things are going to happen before they happen. There was a lot of music that came out right around the pandemic, and people talking about masks and their songs and all, you know, and it was just
yeah. So sometimes it's out there to grab, you know, and if you're lucky enough, the right song or the right lyric will hit you, you know. And talking back on this 10-year anniversary, and since you asked about Sail, those lyrics came out of me as if they had been written, you know, for me. It was a straight, not to act so high and mighty about something like that, or I'm not even suggesting that I'm so special for having written the song, but I remember that, you know, as I was writing the lyrics down, they just came so naturally. And I've written plenty of songs that have reached people that were very difficult for me to write lyrically, where I'd hit a wall and take a break, and it would take weeks to kind of come up to fix the puzzle with words. And Sail wasn't one of those. It was so easy and so fast that it felt like a gift, you know.
Yeah, it definitely has been. And I think, you know, a lot of artists that I've talked to, they've said that those songs that just kind of flow out. It's just, they say like it kind of just comes through them, that, you know, it was not something that they had to really try very hard. It just flowed. So celebrating 10 years today of Megalithic Symphony, and the special edition is out now. So make sure you guys go buy it and stream it. And Aaron Bruna, I just want to thank you so much for hanging out with me today for our radio.com check-in. It's always great to see you.
Thanks so much. And you know, thanks to anyone who cared to check our conversation out, and especially anyone who is, you know, and trip on this. I trip on this fact. If you were 10 years old, you're 20 now when you first heard the record, right? And I've seen so many of our fans say that they were introduced to, you know, these songs from their parents. And so if their parents were in their 20s, they're now in their 30s, and so forth and so on. And it's really strange. So I guess the main goal would be to keep the fans that were younger, and as they've matured into different places in their life and evolved, hopefully they'll still think these songs are rad. You know, because some of the music when I was 10, I look back, I'm like, that's pretty whack, you know. So hopefully we all grow together, and, you know, we're in this together. So, but thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Aaron. Great to see you. Have a good weekend. Good
week. Great talking to you. Bye.
Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell for all notifications from radio.com. While you're at it, why don't you check out some of our other great videos.